In this video, we're going to look at the different types of noun. We're going to cover 9 types of noun: abstract, concrete, collective, compound, gender-specific, gerund, non-countable nouns, countable nouns, and verbal nouns. This slide might be enough for you. It gives 3 examples and a very brief explanation of what each type of noun is. But before we look at these 9 types of noun, there's something else we need to talk about. We need to talk about category of noun. So let's get rid of those. Now, a noun is the word for a person, place, or thing. So a person might be a pirate, a boy, a clown, a city, a cafe, a mountain, an apple, a bear, or a hurricane. Now the words in red here are common nouns. These are the words that you might find in a dictionary. But there's another category of noun. Look at this. His name might be Blackbeard. And that's a proper noun. So a proper noun is the given name. It's the name we give to make it more specific. It might be a personal name or a title. So the boy might be called Toby. The clown, Coco. That city is Paris. This cafe might be called the Coffee Hut. This mountain is Mount Everest. This is a Granny Smith apple. The bear is called Barney. And hurricanes tend to be given names. This one is Hurricane Erin, the name of a hurricane that recently struck the coast of Ireland. Now have a closer look at these proper nouns. Notice that they all start with a capital letter, and notice that the common nouns all start with a lowercase letter. Common nouns only have a capital letter when they start a sentence. Proper nouns always have a capital letter. That's enough about common nouns and proper nouns. Let's get on to the other types of noun. Here they are. And we're obviously going to start with number 1, the abstract noun. So examples are fear, anger, comfort. And these are things you cannot see or touch or sense with any of your senses. You can't see them, you can't hear them, smell them, touch them, or taste them. If you can't sense them with one of your senses, it's an abstract noun. So examples might be bravery. You can't see bravery or hear it or smell it or touch it or taste it. Or health. Freedom. Let's just get rid of those. Because number 2 is concrete nouns. And these are ones that you can see, hear, smell, or touch, or taste. For example, a wave. You can see it, you can hear it, you can smell it, you can touch it, you can taste it. A hammer. You can certainly see a hammer and touch it. Or a lobster. Again, it's something perceivable by one of your 5 senses. Number 3. A collective noun. Examples are team, gang, or choir. These are groups of things. You get groups for people, you get groups for animals, and you get groups for things. So for people, a gang of thieves. For crows, a murder of crows. For ships, a fleet of ships. So they are collective nouns. The thing about collective nouns is they can be singular or plural. Now try to treat them as singular, as in this example. The gang of thieves was moving across the hills. This is correct. But look at this. The gang of thieves were wearing different masks. When the focus is on the individuals within the group, it is possible to treat a collective noun as plural. So this is also acceptable. That's enough about collective nouns. Next we've got compound nouns. Examples: mother-in-law, bus stop, snowman. And these are nouns made up of 2 or more words. So let's take the word see. Let's add it to food. And that gives us seafood, a compound noun. Now the thing about compound nouns is sometimes they can be written with spaces, like these ones, without spaces, i.e. as one word, like these ones, or with hyphens, like these ones. Now the ones with spaces are sometimes called open compound nouns, without spaces, closed compound nouns, and the hyphenated ones, hyphenated compound nouns. Next, gender-specific nouns. Example, lady, boy, waiter. These are nouns that are specifically male or female. So let's look at some masculine ones, some male ones. A rooster, it's always a he. A man, always a he. Bull, elephant, always a he. Let's look at some feminine ones. Hen, women, tigress. And then for comparison, let's look at some non-gender specific nouns, so normal ones. These ones are neutral. So we have a chicken. You can't tell if it's male or female. A doctor, same story. Hippopotamus, same story. Okay, let's start getting a little bit more technical. Number 6, gerunds. Examples, singing, talking, thinking. And these are nouns formed from a verb, and they always end ing, ing. Gerund, a noun ending ing that has been formed from a verb. Examples, thinking, playing, painting, eating. Let's look at some of the properties of a gerund. So unlike a normal noun, a gerund can be modified by an adverb and take an object. Look at this little phrase. Carefully painting the fence. Painting is our gerund, but it has been modified by an adverb. And it has taken a direct object. Painting what? Painting the fence. That makes it a direct object. So, gerunds retain some of their verb-like properties, but they are nouns. That's enough about gerunds. We're going to talk a little bit more about gerunds under verbal noun, which is number 9. But for now, we're on number 7. Non-countable nouns. Milk, water, patience. These are nouns with no plural form. So strength, milk, ice, knowledge, wine. Now these sometimes can have plural forms when you're talking about categories of that noun. And there's a little bit more about that on the website under non-countable nouns. But generally these are nouns that don't have a plural form and they are non-countable nouns. It makes sense to put up number 8 alongside non-countable nouns because it's countable nouns and it's the opposite. It's nouns that do have a plural form. Lemon, well you can have lemons. Hamburger, pizza, orange, oranges, elephants, crocodile and crocodiles. These are countable nouns. Okay, those last two were easy. Let's get on to a technical one. Verbal noun. Development, drawing, attack. These are non-gerund nouns formed from a verb. So a verbal noun is a noun formed from a verb that has no verb-like properties. Example, arrival, from the verb to arrive. Decision, from to decide. Repetition, from to repeat. Building, from to build. Notice it ends ing, but that doesn't mean it's a gerund. We're going to talk about that in a second. Properties. Like a normal noun, a verbal noun can be pluralized. It can be modified by an adjective and followed by a prepositional phrase. So, look at this little phrase. 2 sensible decisions on the future. Our verbal noun is decision, and it's been pluralized to decisions. You can't pluralize gerunds. It has been modified by an adjective, sensible. You can't modify a gerund with an adjective. And it has been followed by a prepositional phrase, on the future. You can't do that with a gerund. So let's put up a verbal noun and a gerund with similar examples. A brilliant reading of the poem won the competition. This is our verbal noun, reading. Let's put up a similar version with a gerund. Brilliantly reading the poem won the competition. This is our gerund. Now look at the verbal noun. It has been modified with a determiner and an adjective. You can't do that with a gerund. With a gerund, you modify it with an adverb, like you would a verb. It's followed by a prepositional phrase. You can't do that with a gerund. In this example, the gerund has taken a direct object, just like a verb would. And that is how you tell the difference between a verbal noun and a gerund. Even though it might be exactly the same word, it's how it's used in the sentence that determines whether it's a verbal noun or a gerund. Now, generally, you should opt for gerunds because your sentences will flow better. They'll be less clunky and they'll certainly have fewer words. Remember, precise and concise. That's the best type of writing. Okay, that was all 9 types. You might want to pause the video here to look at the examples and the very brief explanations to remind you of the 9 types of noun, the 9 types of common noun. Okay, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out some of our other videos on grammarmonster.com.